Hi, so in this video, we're going to talk about strings. Now, strings in Python have primarily, or we can say there are primarily four things that we can do in strings in Python, which are slicing, modifying a string, concatenate, and format. So there could be slight modifications here and there, but primarily we can club them in these four subtopics. So basically, a string is a single character is also considered a string. Strings are immutable in nature, which means we cannot change a string. Square brackets are used to access elements of a string. We'll talk about that in string slicing. And that's pretty much the way we do slicing in Python. Also in Python, strings are surrounded by a single or double quotation marks. As you can see over here, single quotation marks or double quotation marks, both are same. Strings can be also assigned to a variable. For example, we can say a variable a is equal to hello, which means this a becomes a string. So that's primarily about strings. Now let's go a step further and try to understand the construct of a string in Python. So if we define a string x, capital X, is equal to a b c d e, this is a string. So how Python interprets the string? Let's try to understand that. So if I define a string like this, then each character of the string a b c d e get uh, assigned an index like this 0 1 2 3 4. So it's just like a collection of object, each character being uh, assigned a specific index position. And this is very peculiar to Python because this makes working with strings really easy, and you can do a lot of heavy lifting with this concept from Python. Now if I have to access let's say the element at 0th position, all I have to do is I have to write x square bracket and 0. I'm slicing the string for the position number 0. Similarly for position number 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we can just slice an element by just writing the position number in the square bracket prefixed with the string name, right? Now some other variations of this, which we'll also cover in due course of time, are like if I have a string ABCD, I can say element at 0 position, or I can say element from position 1 all the way up till 4th position, or from second position all the way till the end, or from the start until the end. So these are covered under the various, what to say, variations of slicing in string. Let's go back to our code and see how actually strings work. So in here, if you see, let me also get rid of this so that we can easily see our working here. So right now we are defining a string ABCDE, and once we do that, we get a string X size 5 because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 characters, 4 positions actually. So total five characters in here, starting from 0. Length of a string is basically how many characters are there. So if I just say len X, it gives me the length, which is here 5. Mind you, it's number of elements and not the index position, because if you see, indexing is from 0 till 4, but elements are 5, right? Okay, so like we said, we can slice or get any specific elements. So for example, if I have to find the 0th element, I'll just say print x0, which will give me a, which is at the 0th position. If I have to find uh, the characters from first index position 1, all the way up till 4. So if I look at the strings, PPT starting at 0 all the way up till 4, then I'll use this x square bracket 1 colon 4. But mind you, it starts from the first or index first, I may say index number 1, or position number 2, because index 1 is position 2, all the way up till 4, but excluding, mind you, excluding 4. So this is excluding this, right? So which means position 1, 2, 3, and up till 4, but excluding 4. So which means if I run this, so I'll get BCD, because B, C, D, excluding 4. Okay. Again, if I have to go all the way up till the end, I'll just say 2 colon and keep the ending number as open, right? So which means all the way till the end. So I'll get from the second position, which is 0, 1, 2, which is C, and all the way up till the end, which is E, right? Similarly, if I have to start from the beginning, I'll just keep the opening open, colon, and till the end. So which means up till 4. So this way, it goes all the way up till 4, but excluding 4. Then we have a negative index. A negative index are basically, if I have to go back to the PPT, so this 4 basically is -1, this is -2, -3, -4, and -5. So basically it's negative in the reverse order. So if I say print -1, this will give me a string at the last position, which is E, because A, B, C, D, E. The last position is E, right? This one. There is also a way to say uh, jump through these elements. So I'll tell you what it means. If I say uh, string print x from starting from 0 all the way up till 4, and then if I say 2, this means start from 0 all the way up till 4 and take a jump of 2 characters. So if I run this, so you see I get AC because it first goes to A, then it jumps, and then C, then jumps, and then E. So instead of 4, if I keep the end open, it will go all the way up till the end, right? So I'll get AC, so A, then jump, C, then jump, then E, right? So this way we get a jump here, right? And if I keep both start and end open, then again it will lead the same thing, because this means starting from the beginning going up till the end, and then this is a jump. So same thing, ACE I'll get over here. Now this brings us to an interesting point. If instead of this, if we take a minus of before that, by default the jump is 1. So if you don't write 1, it means a jump of 1, right? Now, instead of 1, if I say -1, right, see what happens. So what happens is I get the reverse of a string, because I'm saying from the start till the end, but with a negative jump, right? So it reverses the string. So in short, if there is a string, you can very easily reverse it with such a small code, which is a very powerful feature of Python. Just to demonstrate the power of this feature, let me take a bigger string. Let's say I'll just copy this string from here, right, and put it here. This is such a long string, but if I just do it like this, in a second, in such a quick and short code, I can just, you see, reverse the string. So I've just reversed the string with just such a small piece of code, right? So just very powerful and very intuitive way to write a Python code to reverse a string. So with that, we move to the in operator in Python. So if I say a character in and then the string name, so it checks whether that character is in the string or not. So it will evaluate to true if the string is there, or in the second case, when it's not there, like X is not in ABCD, it evaluates to false. It's a good way to check whether a character is in the string or not. Next is string, which we'll, I think, cover a little later. Yeah, so let me just put here. Yeah, now let's talk about some important, interesting and important methods. So if I have this string X, and if I just run this, you'll see that X looks something like this, right? So this X is Climate Text Data Labs, and you see there's a space in the beginning and the end also, which has been intentionally kept. Space in the beginning and space at the end. So basically these are known as white spaces. This on the other hand is a space in the middle of the string. So this is not a white space. Okay, at the beginning and the end are the white spaces. Typically, you will encounter them when you're doing any data cleaning exercise or working with raw data. So if I say, all right, a string name dot upper and empty parenthesis, so it basically converts to uppercase. You see, it converts to uppercase here. Similarly, if I say x lower, it converts it into a lowercase. If I say x and then I write strip and empty parenthesis, so it get rid of the white spaces that we're just discussing, this white space and this white space at the end. So you see, uh, in this final, when we strip it, the beginning and end white spaces are gone. If I say replace, so which means replace string, if I say, sorry about that. So if I say string name dot replace, and then in bracket you want to write what you want to replace and then what you want to replace it with. So in this case, I'm replacing blanks with underscore. So if I do that, you will see all the blanks get replaced with underscore, right? And split, basically it splits the string on a specific character. So I'm splitting it on space, which means this entire string, this string gets split across, split based on this space. So this part goes separate, this goes separate, and this goes separate, right? So let's first run it. So if I split it, you'll see I'll get a new collection, which is actually a list, which you can also check in the list video how they work. So you will see that I have these separate elements coming separately in a list, and then we can access each of the element using a small logic in the code. So these are the important steps, important methods: upper for uppercase, lower for lowercase, strip for stripping the getting rid of the white spaces, which are the blank spaces in the beginning and the end. Replace is for replacing one character with another, and split is for splitting at a specific based on a specific character in the string. Next, one of the important methods or important techniques in strings is concatenation. In short, concatenation means joining two strings. So for example, if I have a string A and then let's say A, B, C, and then another string is E, F, G. So if I concatenate this string with the other, which means you join the two strings. So basically it becomes A, B, C, E, F, G, right? So this is what I mean by concatenation. So if I have three strings like this, clay matrix for the, let's say for the first name, data for the middle name, and labs for the surname. So if I write the full name as clubbing of full name or F name and the middle name and the surname, so we will get the combined name. Now here you will see that we have also added these, which I'll just explain. Let me first get rid of these. And if I just concatenate the names together, right? So I'll get the full name as, I'll have to run this also, sorry. So if I run this, so I get three names, the F name, middle name, and surname clubbed together, and I get this output, right? But you will see that the blank is not there because the strings don't have any blank. So if I add a blank in between, and using this plus sign as a chain that adds or links everything together, so we are introducing this blank space in between, and then once I run this, I get an output which will have the blanks in between. So hence I can kind of curate my string as per my requirement. So that's how you bring about concatenation in strings, or which means grouping or joining the strings together. Next is the escape character, right? And this is basically used to print out something like this. So if I want to say, I want to print out like this, let's say the printout should be like this, wherein the output has inverted commas, then if I just do it like this, like in this case, I'm saying my name within quotation marks name is Manu. So if I run it like this, Python will throw an error because you cannot have quotation marks within a string, right? So to include quotation mark, there are two ways. Number one, you just use single quotes and double quotes. So either you can use single quotes here and double quotes here, or vice versa. So once I run it like this, so you'll see the output now has quotation marks. Or if you want to use inverted commas inside the string, just use a backslash before that, like this. Then I want to use it again, so backslash. So this way, it does not interfere with the code and no error is thrown. Okay, so this is how you use the escape character. The few other variations or techniques in strings. For example, if I write a string, concatenate it with another string and multiply it with 2. So basically this repeats the string 2 times. So if I run this string, you see, sorry, just need to. So you see this NA is repeated 2 times in banana. So NA and NA over here, right? We can also check whether a string is part of another string, like print NA in banana, which we already done, I guess. So it will give you true or false. Again, there is a, yeah. So it will give you true or false. Comparison. In comparison, we will check if a string is equal to another string. For example, if I say print hello is, check whether it's equal to this. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm checking and it says false because obviously it's not equal to this. Now just move to format now. In formatting, what we mean is when you want the string output in a specific format, you can use 3 kinds of formatting. In 3 kind of string formatting. One is using the fstring method, the other is the format method, and third is using this percentage operator, which means this using the symbol, the percentage sign. Now let's take a string which is xyz is equal to Kavita, and if I use the fstring method, so what I'll do is print name is and then xyz, right? So this way I'll just get the output as the name is Kavita, right? Name is Kavita. Now if I use this to put a number in between, then it will cause an issue, right? For example, if instead of xyz I write a number like this, if I try to add a number here, it will throw an error because I cannot add a number to a string, right? So for that we'll need the fstring method, and it is also used for some other cases. So what it does is use the keyword f, right? And then write a string, whatever you want to write in the string, and wherever you want to introduce a field in between, which is deriving its value from a variable, like in this case I'm saying the student, and within curly brackets I'm putting the variable xyz and then some string got 100% marks. What will happen here is, because I have used an fstring method, this xyz will be taken from the variable value and it will be introduced in the text output. So for example, if I run this, I get the student Kavita got 100% marks. So now in this case, even if xyz was some number, let's say like this, and if I write it like this, so I just need to run it once because xyz holds the value Kavita from the beginning. Now it holds the number 80, and now it says the student got 80% marks. So I can add a number here like this, right? So introduce a number using a variable. So basically fstring method allows you to introduce a variable in between a string. Note you have to put an f character here and then the string, and then within the quotation marks you have to pass the variable. Next is the format method. In format you just write within the quotation marks, sorry, within the curly brackets, the variable name, right? And then the string. So the string in the entire string is like this. And somewhere in the string, you will put the curly bracket wherever you want to introduce a field. And then after that, you will write dot format. And then within this bracket, you'll say a is equal to whatever this variable is, you'll assign some value to it. So it will pick this value from here. So for example, in this case, XYZ is a student. As a matter of fact, even if I had to write it like this, still should work. 1, 2, 3 is a student, and because it just replaces this value with this whatever is written here. Mind you, if I had just concatenated a number with a string, it would not have worked. So that's why we're using all this. And finally, we're using the percentage operator. So over here, what I can do is I can just write my string like this, okay? And then wherever I want to pass a string, I'll just say percentage s, like this, percentage s, in the same order. And in the same order, I'll put percentage and pass the variables inside a bracket. So now once I do it like this, so the output would be like this. So you'll say I like cats, dogs, and humans at home. So like this. Okay. So that's how we use operators in string. And this also brings us to the end of the session on strings. More in the next session on Python. Thank you.